Hey, what's up and welcome back. We finally got a release first chapter of One Punch Man after so much time with redraw after redraw. Finally continuation of Tatsumaki versus Saikoro. Oh, what? It's about Darkshine and Garou? Yup, you've heard that right. This chapter focuses on Darkshine heavily, pun intended, and Garou. Even though Garou's only ended a couple pages, he makes quite the impact. But Darkshine is definitely the focus, especially the overarching theme of basically if you get your ass kicked, don't beat yourself up too much, just learn from it, try to become stronger, and move on and find something or someone to fight for. But at the beginning of this chapter, it's a sight to behold. Darkshine cradling his legs like a little baby, this massive, muscular guy, massively powerful guy. And the imagery in this really shows the impact that Garou and his battle had on his psyche and the monstrous nature or the monster that Garou is continually bringing up to the surface. Now, if we remember Garou in his battle, like Darkshine was overwhelmingly superior to Garou until it wasn't, because, you know, Garou is Garou, so Garou ended up defeating him, and Darkshine is not taking it well. So speaking of Garou, we shoot to Garou, who is trapped under a bunch of rubble, and he is also thinking about his monster side and is actually thinking about his ultimate goals for the world, which interestingly are for a peaceful world, one without discrimination, war, and bullying and all that. But his focus is on the singular despair that he will become. And I love how they put this in absolutely amazing artwork. He will become absolute evil and despair incarnate, because so the people in the world will focus only on that singular despair and fear so much that they will become peaceful, and war and all that will be gone. They'll come together and become equals. Everybody will be equals under the one total despair. And the art in this is fantastic. And I love how they're showing everybody despairing about these three just creatures, these giant ass like monstrosity, terrifying creatures. But then Garou's like, no, that ain't shit. I'm just gonna bite this dude's head off and crush this guy's neck so that his head pops off. And that's awesome. I do think it's kind of weird, though, that the tentacle guy kind of makes it look like it's like Garou's dinghies. Like he's got lots of dinghies down there instead of just one, you know what I'm saying? But otherwise, this picture is phenomenal. So in this struggle and this urge to become that total despair, that motivation that's driving him, he summons up the power, more power, of course, because, you know, he's Garou, and he starts becoming Monster Garou. This is insane. I cannot wait to actually see this dude in action. And interestingly, this actually reminded me of the part in Spider-Man where he was trapped under like the building's roof and summoned up the strength and courage to like get up and, you know, lift the roof off of him. I don't know why. I guess the only similarity is that he was crushed under a bunch of debris. But that, unfortunately, is all that we get from Garou, and I gotta tell you, that is the highlight of the chapter. In terms of artwork, at least. But the other highlight of this chapter is the theme of this chapter, which is essentially Darkshine, who is in basically Garou has accomplished his goal with Darkshine. He is in total despair, and he just does not know what to do with himself. But of course, Pretty Prisoner, being the awesome dude that he is just trying to motivate Darkshine. Hey, buddy, you know, pick yourself up. And of course, on My Mask, being the douchebag that he is, he just kicks Darkshine. He's like, don't be a little pussy. So, these two guys show their complete different tactics in trying to lift up their fellow hero. And I think it's hilarious, guys, that My Mask just kicks him nonchalant, and Darkshine it's just nothing to him. It's just like as if My Mask says, hey, get up. it's like less than a fly to him. So My Mask is basically berating Darkshine for being so down on himself, and he's like, don't be such a coward, go home. And I'm thinking, dude, you were just crying like the other chapter, right? And then Atomic Samurai basically says the same thing. It was so funny. And all the while, Zombie Man's just standing there in the nude, and Pretty Prisoner is just standing there in the nude, you know, just a couple of guys talking in the nude, trying to lift up their friend who is almost in the nude. All he has on is a Speedo. And a My Mask is getting so upset. Like, a My Mask being upset is like prime a My Mask, because his face gets so freaking veiny and grotesque because he's so like I don't know. It's funny. But this, you know, between Pretty Prisoner trying to pep up Darkshine, and he's like, hey man, you know, Garou, he kicked my ass like in an instant. You actually beat him. You actually stood a chance, but you know, you're still extremely strong. It's just that Garou, you know, ended up being stronger than you. But that's not a big deal, you know. Pick yourself up. You gotta fight. Who do you fight for? So I thought that was great that Darkshine is like, you know, I don't really fight for anything, but Pretty Prisoner is like, then fight for yourself. So this lesson is like, there's always something to strive for, something to work toward. You know, if you're a hero and you're not trying to save lives or whatever, like, you know, then do it for yourself. You know, you got to find that motivation somewhere to lift yourself up. You know, this is pretty akin to being like in a depressive funk. You know, you got to find something to latch onto to kind of bring yourself out of that, so that you can move forward with your life and not be, you know, cradling your legs like a little infant. So Darkshine's hands are actually shaking, and he's like, this is the extent of the effect that Garou in his battle has. And I really dug this, you know, because not only does it show that Garou could actually accomplish his goal of total despair, because look what it's doing to one of the strongest S-class heroes. But it's also showing that, hey, you know, you got to find that motivation to get yourself back up when you fall down. And that's exactly what Garou just did in this very same chapter. So I thought that was really cool, because, you know, getting your ass kicked and getting back up is kind of Garou's MO, you know? So, finally, after months and months of nothing, we finally get to Tatsumaki's, or should I say Drive Knight's, battle with Psycho Orochi, their freaking airship Independence Day dogfight in midair. And, you know, it's interesting. He ends up transforming into a freaking bat cycle. And, you know, this is just wacky stuff, guys, because we're in like a superhero type manga here, and now we're having this kind of like World War II dogfight going on randomly in the middle of all this monsters versus heroes stuff, and it's crazy. So Sakurachi's flying after him, and then he jumps back up off the shaft and right back into a plane. Like, funny stuff. But finally we go back to Super Ally Darkshine, and he's just trembling. It's not natural for somebody of his caliber to be in this position, and My Mask kind of points that out. And then Pretty Prisoner kind of finally puts the straw on the camel's back, so to speak, and says, hey, I'll French kiss you if you don't stand up. He's like, fine. But at this moment, Tank Top Master shows up with his cell phone radio tower transportation tactic. Crashes right into the cylinder, and now he is on the scene, I should say. So we leave the chapter off with Child Emperor kind of admiring all of his, you know, fellow heroes, and he's like, I never thought all these guys would work well together. And it's pretty funny that if you look at this image, you have Darkshine, who's almost nude other than the Speedo, Pooty Pooty Prisoners, who's naked, Zombie Man, who's naked. All that's faded out, you know, gracefully. And then you have all the clothed guys on the left side. So that was pretty funny stuff. So, man, I can't wait for freaking Monster Garou. I can't wait for that action. I cannot wait. You know, we need to get done with Drive Knight and Tatsumaki's battle with Saikorochi. And actually, the next chapter should be really awesome because all these other heroes are going to jump into action too. So that's going to be awesome. All of these guys versus Saikorochi, that's going to be epic. And then Saitama's going to show up and kind of flick them away and say, hey, I want to go make some ramen or something like that. But what do you guys think of the chapter? That's basically my thoughts. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty light on the action, but really great in the character and thematic elements. So drop your thought waves down in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching and take it easy.